Hi, this is Elliot Waysage. I want to go ahead and do a quick market update. Like always, I know this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. So the market, had a nice rebound today, and the bulls are trying to take control of the market. Uh, when coming in today's action was very mixed picture. A lot could happen, a lot of possibilities, but I think we're starting to see where the path is, the market is going to go. So the first, the Dow Jones, I believe we're still in this four wave up, like I have here, and we'll get this 5-4-5 pattern to play out. I believe that's what we will see. If this does push higher, then I would just kind of tweak the labeling a little bit and just put it in a higher degree, wave four. Something like this, or possibly even something even more dramatic, and then have the whole thing, and we correct the whole thing depending on how high we go from here. So I look at this as a three-wave move that needs to finish, and that should push us back up to this area of resistance here in some kind of three-wave bounce. And what degree we'll be in when we get there depends. And I think what I'll do for now is kind of tweak the label in and go with this. Even though the bearish case is still valid, just so you know, the 4-hour cycle has not broken the trend. The daily cycle has not broken either. So it could not. This could be wrong that I'm showing. I'm just based on what I saw in the Nasdaq today, the strength in tech. I would say that this looks like your most probable path at the moment, and here it does look like it's impulsive on the 4-hour. So I don't see this as a corrective move. I see it as, like I said, you just have different degrees of swings. 1, 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So you can just kind of tweak the labeling. I'm going to do that for now, and kind of look at it from that point of view. But this really does look like 5 down here. It would be nice and clean to get one more low. I mean, don't get me wrong. So this may not happen. So that's why I think the sidelines on the Dow Jones is important, because it could, like I said, it could easily still be what I have labeled here. And technically, we should drop pretty hard tomorrow if that's the case, if this is the count. So it's a kind of a coin flip in on the Dow Jones for sure. We're heading. And then the SPY looks like to me you have again an impulse down, 3 up, a 1, 2. I'm going to put this 3 here and 4 here, something like this. It's just cleaner. And then this will line up with the strength I'll expect in tech. So I do think the SPY should move higher in this 2-wave, like I have shown here, and the potential area that could be where it could get shorted is at 438, 440 in this area, somewhere here, and then wave 3 down. So as this happens, let's take a look at the daily cycle. Here we're running out of room here, but it's still bearish. My guess is we should pull back tomorrow and then make a run later in the week to keep the daily cycle alive. That's what I'm thinking here. So this may not be the connector after all. We may not have it yet. What we may be seeing is the connector being set tomorrow, where we pull back like this and then we come up like that, something like that, or even like this, or even crazier like that, So it's hard to say, but my guess is this would be too strong. So I think this is kind of the path what I think the market will do. But again, that's why I say it's a coin flip and a sidelines market, even for the SPY, because it can. But I would say this looks like the likely, scenario, something like that for two. Uh, if the daily breaks, then we have to look at this as a three-wave corrective move down, and and I wouldn't call this 1-2. Um, there's just no good way to label that. It's just so much cleaner. So you would really have to say that's an ABC down. The Dow Jones is a little different because of the way the swings are that I can force it in I feel better. The SPY I don't feel better with that. I feel better looking at it like this and a 1-2-1-2. The triple Q's pushed higher today, so I'm changing the count to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a 1, and this 2 should actually come back up and probably retest and get rejected at this downtrend line. But if it can like wick into this area I've highlighted, that would be the natural area I would expect it to go to. And again, I believe it will do something like a W and a pullback and run like that. Something like that is what I'm thinking. We'll see. The reason I'm going with this count is the daily cycle did break with the strength in tech. So that chart shows we're at a new daily cycle higher. It's the only indice to do that I saw. So more than likely, this is a clue of where the market is going. And these two indices will follow suit, which is why I think the SPY will push higher, pull back and higher. And the Dow Jones, may be in a higher degree wave 4 and not this pattern. And it may end up being something a little different. I could, something where we're in this higher degree wave 4, which could, we could push up higher in like that, or it can even become another 1-2-1-2. That's probably the better way to look at it, to line it up with the rest of the market that I have like that. So this should push up a little higher, and again, it looks like we have 5 waves off the low here. Let's take a look here. Well, actually here you have 3 with some divergence. So the connector could be set here in the Dow, but chances are it isn't. So this could be part of it and it probably will drop and then rip like that. But I'm just speculating. I don't, I can't guarantee you it's going to do that, but it more than likely would. So that's what I'm looking for, more higher, and again, it needs to respect the daily cycle. If the daily cycle breaks, then it's obviously not this count, and I'd have to relabel it. And the way I would relabel it is a little different look. I would do something like this, and then just label that as a 1-2 here. So we just have to relabel it. And in fact, it could actually be done here and be doing a flat, right? It could do something like this, and then it actually was done here. And I think for now, I'm going to go with this, given the strength I think we'll see in tech now that the market is kind of decided where it wants to go. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, something like this. Now, it wouldn't be surprising to see the market go even higher between the 4 and the 2 wave that I have here. That would be a pretty heck of a pump. But wherever we end up in this 2, it's going to more than likely fail and make at least one more trip down or greater. So this is kind of the count. So the only way you can go back to the bearish structure, and it's rare, but it happens with the RSI break, is even though The only reason I went to this more bullish case was the break on the daily on the tech here. But if we were to tomorrow plummet down and tech could just crash back down below this trend line, uh, we would call that a false breakout, and I would go back to the bearish cycle. So we really want to keep an eye on what tech does tomorrow, because if it's too strong and this daily cycle can bend back down, and it just shows like a slight bend over our trend line, then the cycle hasn't been violated, and then essentially we'll go back to the chart I had on my previous video. So that's why this is a coin flip market. It's very indecisive. So if you're long, this is kind of the bullish chart. I'm sorry, that's the futures. If you're long, this is the bullish chart, and you may even think new highs. I don't think so. This is the most bullish, I think, outcome I could see happening right here. If you're this is the most bullish path. But if tomorrow we can get like immediate rejection with a strong momentum down, then the bear charts are back in play, and these will become back where we had them as a 1-2, 1-2, and we could have waterfall, free fall, sell in, 1-2, and again 1-2, and here 1-2, and 1-2 even. So you just don't know. I'm just showing you different scenario, but you'll have to do what's best for you. You'll have to do what's best for you. So that's the cycle. That's what I'm looking at, and it'll be a very interesting time in this market for sure that we have coming up. So I can't wait to see what happens. Tomorrow's trading would really, I think, give us a good clue. I mean, I do think we'll pull back in the here, but it should be not that strong. If it does something like this, or it goes, if we can come back, I would say more importantly, if we come back and break below 357, then this bullish case I think is negated, and you're back to a two-man set. So just be an interesting day, but I do think a pullback is in order of some kind here, and then a rally, and then this gets set. So it looks like the folks that were like the October 18th crash time, that actually looks like that's what we're lining up for here. A pump and then a crash that week. That's what it seems like we are lining ourselves up for when I look at this setup. But the indices is really tough right now, so I'm not going to talk about that. So Bitcoin is right on trendline support. It really needs to hold it. If it breaks this trendline support, we may have confirmation that the next cycle lower has started. That may also be a clue for the market that the bear case is still alive, and then this isn't going to happen. So if we do think that's going to pump, then Bitcoin should still make it up to this area I've highlighted. Oil was really bullish today, but not what you would have expected, given there could be a war in the Middle East. So the market participants don't think it's going to escalate. But that's common when a crisis hits. Denial is always the first emotion by many market participants. The really smart traders, the thinkers, fundamental, because to them it's unthinkable. The status quo is more expected. Big changes in world geopolitical events or situations like COVID just don't happen very often. So when they do show up, it's easy. The simple answer is to deny its significance and ignore it. And of course, that was classic for COVID, which happened February as we pumped. And I'm on StockTwits telling people, why are you why are you buying this? Like, this is obviously going to come to you. It was the easiest short that I've ever had in my life, because the news seemed so obvious to me where we were heading, and we eventually did. And that's why in COVID crash, I probably made the most money trading I've ever made in my career, because it was just so obvious. But the crazy thing is, while we pumped in February, 8 out of 10 people thought it was a nothing burger, thought it was a joke, thought it was just a Chinese thing. No way it could even, contemplate. So I think that's kind of what's going through the market participants' head now with the war. And I'll just throw a hypothetical scenario out, just like I did back in February 2020, and everyone that I talked to on StockTwits thought it was a crazy talk, but it ended up actually all happening. And it's not on, it's not a big, jump in logic just to hear this out. So Israel goes in, right, to, Gaza, like they said they're going to do. It looks very likely, right? Do you really think they're going to just back off given all the rhetoric, all the preposterous of forces? Highly unlikely. They're going to go in. They're still hearing people say, "Oh, they won't go in." I almost think it's certain they're going to go in. That's the base case. They're going to go in. There's going to be a lot of casualties. Twitter is going to be used to amplify the sadness, and that will rally the other side, the Arabs, the Palestinian supported groups. They'll see that, and they'll have to go to action. So then you'll get the Hezbollah will join, and then when they join, Iran and Syria and those come into play, and the regional war expands. And from there, and then America probably sending troops not to just sit on a boat all day. They're probably going to be in the theater, whether we know it or not, and someone will discover it, and something will happen. Maybe even American soldiers get killed somehow. Somehow a ship is hit. Who knows? One thing leads to another, and you have full blown out war in the Middle East. Oil won't be here. It will be up in this area pretty much overnight. So this is where, and then of course, what do you think the market will do? So I think this is the scenario that I just talked about isn't that far fetched. But right now, I would say 90% of the people that are, pontificating about this think that's crazy talk. But I think it's more likely than they realize. More likely than they realize, given where things are. But we'll see what happens in the next 30 days. But hey, wouldn't it be a great idea to hedge yourself and buy some oil? I mean, do you think it's going down to $60 right now? Probably not, right? I mean, this could be like your February 2020 COVID moment of where you could go long oil. I'm just saying, I'm not, I just think, if you want to hedge against that geopolitical calamity, I think oil would be the way to do it. I wouldn't say gold and silver because there'll be a liquidation event in the market and those will get hit. I think they will first and then rally later. But I do think natural gas and oil are the best ways to play the geopolitical side, and you'll have to do what's best for you. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. And of course, natural gas pumped, like I was mentioning, and we had this buy area, and I was telling people to be patient, right? Long-term investors, and now it's paying off. This just took a lot of patience, but it finally paid off, and it should actually continue higher. This should continue higher. So what would I like? Boil on any pullback against $50, and you can use your imagination how high it can go. Who knows? Same thing with natural gas. It could go much higher than we imagined. So then the bond market got some buyers and got everyone excited because there's probably a bottom. The sad thing is there probably isn't. It's just this four wave that I have here playing out. So we got more upside for whatever reason. And then the dollar index pulled back in a double correction and is finding support right before the area. Here's your connector. So it could still push lower, but I believe it's in danger for another run higher. And then the VIX actually closed 1954 in this area outside. So it's actually the VIX was divergent. The VIX closed while the market pumps. That's a COVID 2020 warning sign. That's what was happening in the COVID crash, guys. The VIX was building. Yeah, the market was making a new high for some reason, but the fear was actually, I remember watching the VIX rise, and I'm like, how the heck is the market rising? And the VIX rising with it, it made no sense. And today was a day like that. So if we close over 20 tomorrow and we're still green, I mean, I think that's a huge warning sign of what's about to happen in the market. So we really interested to see where we go. But I do think we'll get this a little bit of sell off and another pump. But like I said, I could be wrong. If the daily had a fake out on tech and trapped a lot of buyers here. So that's all I want to say on the market, guys. You know, it like I say, it's a coin flip market. You can gamble, roll the dice at Vegas, play the roulette wheel on the market, and try to guess which scenario is going to play out. So that's tough to try to find it. But I think the best trade, the easiest trade, if you're so desperate to trade, would be long oil, really on market. Or if it pulls back to fill this gap. I mean, to me, that's the easiest trade right now in the market is long oil and long natural gas. That's what I'd be looking for. If you could get a good pullback, great opportunity. The other is short bonds now. The TBT, I mentioned to watch for that back test, the breakout line. I believe we could be heading there. The back test at 38, but we are actually in a buy area today for TBT and a three-way pullback. But this could be a flat top, so it could still push lower. So I wasn't going to buy that here, but I will pick some up if we get to 38.50. 38.50 down into this area. That's what I'd be looking for, somewhere in this area for support, and then it could run again here. So anyway, guys, that's all I got, and I'll talk to you later, and good luck trading tomorrow.